So recently we've seen introductions to the game which have made SS troop appearance medals a bit easier to get. Previously they were only accessible through a 1000 black diamond pack for 30, so $100 per 30, which made them very, very difficult to get, very, very pay to win. But now we've seen them added to treasure seeker rewards on level 5, so if you can hold them you can actually get quite a lot of SS medals through that. And also through the resource collection event, which we saw in the last event similar to this, and we'll see again. It was released in the schedule for it, so that will be there in a week or two, where it will give you SS medals based on your final leaderboard ranking, and you can rise in the leaderboard through like motivation usage or speed up usage, stuff like that. I mean, even on here they're giving out some SS medals just for signing in, so they're making them more and more attainable. So quite a lot of lower spending players who never even thought about what to do with them are now wondering how to use them, how to spend them. I've been asked a few times by people like, what should I do, what should I use them on? So I thought I'd make a video on it. So there are 6 SS troop appearances. There's Unsullied, Kingsguard, Kingsguard Infantry, Kingsguard Bowman, Water Dancer, and Dothraki Rider. So Kingsguard and Unsullied were the first ones in the game, and that gives them a slight unique part of their stats, where at gold they will gain rally size in higher increments between the 3 stages than the newer releases will. So you could argue these are better taking straight to gold when you're at the later tiers of them, but they do have their downsides. They have been power creeped a bit. Like this is where is that? Yeah, like Dothraki Rider has the leeching effect, purple and gold, so that will be 15% total stats versus the like 12% you'll be getting from Kingsguard, for example. Unsullied, you can get these medals specifically through KBK rewards. That's how I've got mine. I've never used any SS medals on them. And the second tier of this is really, really bad. So for general use on these like free ones you'll be getting, you'll probably want to avoid Unsullied for the most part, unless you're getting huge amounts from KBK and can take it to like gold fairly realistically. But I think the main focus will want to be these 5. They will all give in the first 3 tiers total defense, total health, total attack, but they'll give them in different orders and slightly different amounts. I think taking them all to green first is probably ideal, but I'll go over the intricacies of that. So to get to grey max, it will be 30 SS medals. Green max will be another 60, blue max will be another 150, purple will be another 300, and gold will be another 450. So it gets a lot less efficient the further down you go. So if you want to do it the most efficient, you will probably want to just focus on the earliest tiers and get them all up there first of all. So what I would do personally is take Dothraki Rider to Grey Max first, because it was total attack. Total attack is the best stat in the game. It's the only one with total attack. The others have health or defense. So I think that's a bit of a no-brainer, taking there first. There will be 30 medals for that. And then you'll probably want to take Water Dancer, Kingsguard Bowman, and Kingsguard Infantry to Grey Max, because they all give total health. Total health's the second best stat. It's better than defense. Plus, these also have the best second tier. So they have 7% total attack for just 60 SS medals. So the next thing I'd invest in would be those. You can just take, say, Water Dancer to Green Max, then Kingsguard Bowman to Green Max, then Kingsguard Imp to Green Max. That is probably the most attainable long-term goal for most people who would be wondering what to spend these on, because even That alone is quite a lot of medals. It'll be like 90 for each of these getting to that point, so 300 medals total, getting this to grey and the other 3 to green. So that is a lot. That will take quite a lot of time or quite a lot of money getting there. After that, I would take Kingsguard to grey. It's total defense, so it's not great, but it's just so much more efficient than the other options at this point. After this, you could maybe get Unsullied to grey max 2 for the 10% training speed. Only if you can't get them via KVK though. 10% training speed will pay off big time long term if you're training or retraining a lot of troops. But you might want to prioritize the stats. For me, it doesn't really matter because I can just get the medals through KVK, but there's only limited spots available for that to get those medals obviously, so I wouldn't touch Unsullied after getting it to grey either way, unless you're getting a bunch of medals from KVK, because the second tier of it is just so bad. This is pointless. I mean, resources are so easy to come by if you just use alts. The later tiers of it are pretty good to be honest, but that second tier of it is just so bad that I don't think SS medals are really a priority to be used on that, especially for people without an excess of them. After this, I personally got Kingsguard to green max for the total health, and then it's a choice between taking Kingsguard to max blue for the total attack, or Dothraki Rider to max green for the total defense. Personally, I went with Dothraki Rider because I want that earlier power spike for the stats, but honestly either works, and you will want both, just depends on which order you want to do them in. So taking all these to green first, except Unsullied arguably, is what you'll want to do. And then Kingsguard to blue for the total attack probably, because total attack is the best stat. It will need 150 to get it there. So it's a big commitment, a big investment. You'll have to grind it for quite a long time realistically. And then when you look around at the other options, all the third tiers are pretty bad. They're just total defensive stats, which is decent of course, but is it really what you want? I think for most of us, decision making past this point is mostly meaningless because we're never going to get the SS medals through it. But you can either choose to take everything up to blue, or pick one, probably Kingsguard I would suggest, or if you're getting a lot from KBK, maybe Unsullied, and take it all the way to gold max for the rally size. Like I said, these older ones have the higher increments of rally size, like 16, 32, 50k rather than 10, 20, 50. So it's 6k more at gold 1 and then 12k more at gold 2. So you can spread your SS medals around at this point, but you will delay the rally size spike. Personally, I think I'll just grind out the totals at blue, go for the total health on Dothraki Rider, and then the total defenses on these other ones, just because I'd rather the earlier power spike. No, going all the way to gold is such a long-term goal. I might not still be playing by the time I could ever realistically get that amount of medals. But for me personally, maybe Unsullied could be a good path to go down, just because I am getting so close to gold. But even then, like, to max gold I would need 450 medals. That is a scary task, so maybe breaking it down into the easier to get done goals at blue is probably ideal. But overall, you're going to want to get Dothraki Rider to max grey first, and then Water Dancer, Kingsguard Infantry, and Kingsguard Bowman to max grey. Then take all of those 3 to max green, just go one by one, get one to max, then move on to the next one, doesn't really matter what order you go in. And then Kingsguard straight up to max grey, and then straight to max green. Finish Dothraki Rider up to green, and then you have to make your own decisions based on how long you're willing to wait, what you're going for, etc.